It is time to breathe again on the latest Breath of Fresh Air webcast, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And we are back on our normal Tuesday night, Patrick, after doing the Thursday night show last week. So,
which is kind of weird, actually.
It is.
It threw my whole entire week off.
Did
like the entire week was thrown off. The entire woke up on Friday, thought it was Wednesday.
Well, we'll make sure that we stay or try to get back on there. Like I said, that was on me. I was down there with fam, down in San Antonio with fam, so we were able to push it back on Thursday. And I thank you for being able to make adjustments to your schedule as well to get on there. And so now here we are, back on Tuesday evenings. And Patrick, we have a lot to get to, but first, we're going to start with some sad news here. The coach for Mississippi State, Mike Leach, he passed away last night at the age of 61. Of course, as I just said, he was the coach at Mississippi State, but before he was the coach at Mississippi State, he was the coach at Texas Tech and Washington State. So a wealth of experience there, coaching in the Big 12, then in the Pac-12, and now in the SEC. Innovator. He's the innovator of that air raid offense, where quarterbacks are throwing the ball 50, 60, maybe 70 times a game.
Maybe even 80.
Maybe 80, yeah. So, I saw something the other, or actually about an hour ago, where it was talking about the top 9 or 10 most prolific passing seasons there has been in the history of college football, and Mike Leach was the coach of 4 of those. With those,
that's surprising.
Yeah, I mean, the dude was he was a good coach, and from all indications, even better person. You knew you would laugh when you hear him talk because he might say something off the wall, which in a way is perfect. Yeah, which in a way is perfect for the SEC because there's all kinds of characters in the SEC.
Oh yeah.
So again, this is a very sad occasion that he's gone at the age of 61. I guess complications from a heart condition, and it happened so suddenly, Patrick. I mean, he had the episode on Sunday night at the home close to the campus up there in Mississippi, down there in Mississippi in Starkville, and they rushed him to the hospital in the capital city of Jackson. And all of a sudden he passed and he's gone, and it just happened all so suddenly. And it's just shocking, and it's really sad, but at the same time, it's a celebration of his life, really. He was, like I say, he was a character. He was a bright dude, the innovator of the offense. And look at all the coaches that were under his tree that are coaching right now. Sonny Dykes at TCU was under his tree. So was Lincoln Riley at USC. And of course, he had coached at Oklahoma as well. Dana Holmgren, I think. I always mess his last name up, but he was the coach at West Virginia, and now he's the coach at Houston now. And Dave Aranda, the head coach at Baylor, was also under the Leach tree. So he has a legacy he has left, not just in the places he has coached at, but for all of college football. And he will be missed.
Yeah, definitely. That innovation of the air raid offense. And it's funny because it didn't matter if the defenses knew it was coming. They knew it was coming. The question is could you stop it? That was always the question.
Right.
And I remember one interview I was watching him, and one of the reporters asked, it was like, well, was such a fantastic start to the game and for the first half and scoring 35 points in the first half. He's like, how is your air raid doing? He goes, well, we scored 35 points. What do you think?
Yeah. He was really blunt with it too, and he was not afraid to speak his mind with a lot of these things at all, man. And it's refreshing when you hear a guy just willing to say whatever comes out. So that's part of the charm. That was part of the guy that a lot of coaches and a lot of people just was adored by.
Yeah.
And my thought also goes to things like this, Patrick. Think if you're Lane Kiffin right now. That was the final game he coached, that Mike Leach coached, the Egg Bowl. And for those who are familiar with the SEC and in the state of Mississippi, the Egg Bowl is a ugly, nasty rivalry between Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. And I think, those two coaches with Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin, they developed a mutual respect there. And
they go back further than the SEC. I mean, if I recall correctly, I think they even coached together against each other in the Pac-12.
They did, yeah, when Lane Kiffin was at USC, absolutely. And so it's just think about, that's where my mind goes when I think about things like that. Just those memories of, because you never know. You coach that game, you're getting ready for the bowl season, you're getting ready to actually start recruiting because you have all the people coming into the transfer portal. And of course, we'll talk about the transfer portal here in a little bit.
Mississippi State, they already started recruiting.
It
wouldn't surprise me if they didn't have 4 or 5 people already out recruiting.
Honestly. Yeah, and we'll talk about this transfer portal thing in more detail in a little bit. But it's just to break down all the stuff that you're getting ready for after your final regular season game, and you just never know from day to day what could happen, what could arise. Like I'm pretty sure when Lane Kiffin was shaking Mike Leach's hand in the middle of that field that day in Oxford, I'm pretty sure he wasn't thinking that would be the last time he would coach against him.
Yeah.
And
the good thing about that one was it wasn't a handshake like it normally is. That was actually a hug.
Yeah, it's an embrace. It was an embrace. And you just, I don't know, man. It just, like I said, just everything just kind of happened so sudden. And like I say, I mean, Mike Leach is, I remember, man, especially with him being in the Big 12. You saw it this year playing with Georgia. You're a big Georgia fan. Y'all saw Mississippi State this year. Mm-hmm. And being a Longhorn fan, we saw Mike Leach a lot. And you just never knew what was capable. It was just like, man, the secondary is going to be running for their life today because it's gonna be it might be 400 or 500 yards of throwing offense we have to deal with. It just kept the pressure on, and then like I said, that legacy he left, all those coaches that are under his tree, that coached under him when he was at those 3 places. There's a big legacy there, and for the people in Starkville, the heart goes out to them, and people even in Lubbock and in Pullman at those colleges as well, who saw Mike Leach coach them, and of course his family as well. It's really sad, really sad.
Yeah, he was a fantastic offensive coordinator, fantastic head coach. Like I said, I remember, especially for the past four years after he left Washington State. Well, during the times he coached at Washington State, I do remember turning my TV over to see, or just at halftime, just to see if he's going to say something. He cracked me up every halftime that they talked to him. I mean, everywhere from, well, I put 35 up on the board thing, or, well, we turned the ball over 4 times. Do you think I'm happy about my half?
Or you might say something about fishing or something.
Always talking about fishing. References to fishing. What's coming out of his mouth, and it was always just always to do his thing. Yeah, he just in college football, definitely. Yeah, shout out and prayers to his fans, and hopes that they have a safe time getting over well, not necessarily getting over it, but a safe time trying to cope with the loss that they just have.
All right. Well, it's never easy transition to go.
Yeah, we you know what's crazy? We've been having to do these transitions a lot here lately.
Yeah, you just never know. You never know what can happen from day to day. So that's why you just have to try to make the best out of every day. I know we go through a whole bunch of struggles as people trying to make sure things are good with ourselves, with our families, with our loved ones. And sometimes you get caught up in the grind, and other times you take things for granted, and you just can't. And I mean, it's just because things like this can happen so suddenly. And then you're, like you said, we're having these conversations about losing somebody, and it's really sad. And I mean, I guess the only thing we can do is, I guess, do what a lot of people who knew Mike Leach and others say to do: just kind of celebrate his life, keep his legacy alive, and laugh about those good times, because they help and they keep you from crying.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed his halftime remarks. Always have. And to me, Mike Leach's halftime reactions are just as good as Lee Corso's head gear. Serious. I loved his halftime remarks. Always have. They're so fun. So I tell you what, I will always remember that part.
Well, Patrick, let's make the difficult transition over to our conversation about the transfer portal. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring up the transfer portal is because, well, after the season, you have a lot of people jump into the transfer portal. And now the conversation has started about what type is the transfer portal good? Is it harmful to college football? What to do about the transfer portal? And it's conversations we have had before, but I think the angle we should get to look at when it comes to the transfer portal is how do you manage it? If you are a coach now, because some coaches have built their whole rosters with the transfer portal. And you have others who might get one or two transfer portal players. And then you look at the cases, because I mean, people will say, well, I think you have to limit the amount of transfer port or amount of transfers a player is done. Well, you kind of already done that. They're supposed to just have one transfer portal option throughout their college career, unless you're JT Daniels, who seems to transfer schools every year. But because he entered the transfer portal again
for the third time.
Yeah, and so but there's all these other loopholes, I guess. And maybe I shouldn't call them loopholes. Maybe that's
what they are.
The words, but that's what they are. A medical red shirt here, or another red shirt there, and now you have 7 years.
I get a pink shirt now.
Yeah, now you have 3 times you can enter the transfer portal. So, look, I mean, Patrick, I just think it's different when it comes to the player, because some players they leave to follow a coach, just like you saw with Caleb Williams going to USC and following Lincoln Riley. Other times, you have players who they just can't win the spot, so they transfer to other places, and they may or may not beast in these spots. You know, Jameson Williams last year, he was at Ohio State. You know, all the receivers Ohio State had, so he transfers to Alabama, beasts at Alabama. And then you have Will Levis, transferred from Penn State. I still don't understand how he wasn't able to beat out Sean Clifford for that job, but whatever. But he transfers to Kentucky, and I mean, he's all right. You know, he wasn't ridiculous with it, but apparently he's going to be a top pick for next year's NFL draft. I don't understand why I didn't see much from him, but according to the experts, The experts have him as a high draft choice. Personally, I would take Bryce Young over him, but
there's about 4 or 5 quarterbacks I take over him. I'd probably come up with that 2 handfuls of quarterbacks I'd take over him.
Yeah.
But it's funny because they said the same thing about Justin Fields and like how much he's flopping in Chicago. He looks like a fish out of water. He's flopping so much.
I think I'm gonna disagree with you there because I think Justin Fields is fine. They don't. The Bears need a defense, and they need to help him out with some weapons. And he does need to develop
Bears
more.
Defense don't throw the football.
He needs to develop more as a passer, yes, but it's Chicago. What? Tell me this, Patrick. What quarterback's going to succeed in Chicago right now?
Exactly. It doesn't pay to be a quarterback in Chicago, and here he is, a quarterback in Chicago, and you're wondering and it's funny because a lot of people say the same thing. It's like, well, I don't think he's really flopping in Chicago. It's just that what quarterback succeeds. I was like, well, that's the same thing I just said.
Patrick, you said a month and a half ago that you were impressed with Justin Fields. Now he's flopping,
dude. Well, you know what? Until he threw all those interceptions, now he's a flop.
Okay. All right.
I was impressed. This is what I am. I am still impressed with Justin Fields on one thing. He doesn't give up, man. He plays 4 quarters, no matter if he throws 4 interceptions or 8 interceptions. He plays 4 quarters. I will give him that. He is consistent as crap. He will throw a bunch of interceptions or he'll throw a shit ton. It's a lot of interceptions. Sorry. But that is the one thing I'm impressed with. He is consistent. He will play you 4 quarters. He will give you that. But Chicago is going to have to give that boy some help. And that's on many levels. He needs some wide receivers that will fight for the ball. That kid needs some defensive training. He needs to learn how to audible. He needs to do a lot of stuff in Chicago, and they are not giving him that education. Sorry, I got on a different subject, but that's how I feel about him.
Now,
I blame it on Chicago, not Justin. Just to be clear, I do blame all of his falters on Chicago.
But hey. It is.
What were we talking about? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine because I was about to bring it back full circle. But he was a transfer.
That's what we were. Yeah.
And so I got you, Patrick. I got you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, because you
called me before the show.
Yeah, we you know how you can get with the Rams. No. But he was a transfer from Georgia as well, and I guess the thing with the transfer portal, you and we talked about this last week. Even if you are able to get all these transfer portal players, are you building the program per se? No. And so that's the question I would ask people because I agree with you. No, I don't think you are building it. I think it is one of those things where you're doing the John Calipari thing. The college basketball in Kentucky, you have a one and done going on with the players where you bring in all these high recruits and you try to get them to play as well as you can, as together as you can to try to get a title, and then they're out.
Yep.
And so that's what you have a lot of times with these transfer portal players because these guys might have went to school for 2-3 years. Whoa! Jonathan showed up. What's going on, Jonathan? Good to see you, Jonathan. Good to see you. But yeah, transfer portal. You have guys like Lincoln Riley. He had 19, 20 transfer portal players, and you're basically trying to. It's the equivalent of free agency and how you're trying to buy a championship, more or less. Mm-hmm. And so, look, you're right, Jonathan. No, see, I like it.
It's because he just caught it.
Yeah, he just caught it. Yeah, I like it. But yes, The transfer portal is not going anywhere, and it's really just a matter of how you're going to navigate through with as a coach, as an athletic director. The same with NIL. It's just a new age, and
but let me ask you this question: with the whole transfer portal and how it's working, how do you like the time frame from between the 6th and the 15th? Because look at what Georgia lost. Because if you're going to transfer, let's say you are in the CFP, right, and you transfer, well, guess what? The CFP is after the portal, so now you have to make that decision whether you're going to play in this or you're not. And so we have a lineman or a linebacker, I can't remember which one it was. He played in the game last year. And won a national championship with Georgia, right? Well, now he's transferring out to go play somewhere else because most of where he got to play was in the special teams, right? So how do you navigate that part? Because coaches are going to lose people even before the bowl games are being played now. You know what I mean? So how do we navigate that part?
So personally, I think if you're going to transfer, I think that should happen after the season. Like I mean,
you got to play the game first.
Yeah, so I think again, because we're saying it's basically like free agency. Going here, you go into the transfer portal, whatever coach sees you, and you do, I guess, have the option to go back to the school you wanted to transfer from. But let's face it, Patrick, if you're entering the transfer portal anyway, that ship is probably sailing. So yeah, and Jonathan, yeah, you're right. That was actually going to be my next point. Coaches up and leave all the time.
Which is garbage anyway. I mean, what's the point in the contract? And we've said this many times. What's the point in the contract if you're just going to roll no matter what the contract says anyway?
Yeah, like to me, you just do a year-to-year deal. That's basically how it should be. Do a year-to-year deal. Don't sit here and sign any 3-4 year deal, because the moment a vacancy opens up and some athletic director wants to go and talk to you, and you just go ahead and you just roll out, like what's the point? Now there's a whole bunch of buyouts, and and it's just money over hand over fist, just switching hands. It's crazy.
I wouldn't sign a contract. I wouldn't have anybody sign a contract. I'd be like, look, bro, show up to your job or I'm gonna just fire you. That's how crazy enough. That's how the real world works. We don't sign freaking contracts everywhere we go. Hey, I would like to have a job and this is how much I want to get paid. Perfect. I think you're a great fit for this organization. Go to work. Oh, well, no contract? Hell no. I'm staying married to you. If I won't like you, I want to get rid of you. You know what I mean? Step in my office. Why? Yeah, my point. That's what I'm saying.
Jimbo Fisher. So Jonathan, here's the thing with Jimbo Fisher. I personally give him till next year. Because of this.
I give him 3 years because that buyout is crazy expensive.
It's huge, man. And like I know I said this on one webcast, but I'll say it again since Jonathan is here. So he's halfway through his original deal. It's a 10-year deal. And oh no, Jonathan, it's way more than that. Way more than that. So more than 50 million. Try 86 million. 86 million.
86 million. That's what
86 million, Jonathan. This is buyout. Look,
there's only one person over him. One.
Yeah.
And it's Kirby Smart with 102.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Jonathan, and for everyone else who is watching. Jimbo Fisher, if they were to fire him, and remember, he is halfway through his 10-year contract. He's been at A&M for 5 years. The buyout is 86 million. That is more than what it would cost us as in Texas, Jonathan, and y'all as in Oklahoma to get bought out from the Big 12 contract and move into the SEC. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Total for Texas and Oklahoma to move after this year.
Yeah.
$60 million. That's the buyout.
Actually, so it was between 70 and 80 million, actually.
Oh, it is?
Okay.
Last time I read it, I thought it was going to drop down to 60 million. So they might have. I guess they kept a couple of things. Okay, so $70 million for two organizations to leave the Big 12 and go to the SEC. Jimbo Fisher beats both of them combined. That's insane.
Well, the 70. So Patrick, the 70 and 80 million is per school. It is per school. Yeah, it is per school.
I thought that was combined. I thought it was 45 million for both, for one.
Nah, dude.
Either way, that's crazy.
It's still crazy. But either way, Jimbo Fisher, his buyout is more than what it would cost Texas and Oklahoma to get bought out from the Big 12. And on that note, Patrick, there is momentum that says Texas and OU could be in the SEC by 2024. Reason being,
I call that.
Yeah, well, we said 2023. We thought it was going to be earlier than that. We did, Patrick. He said it was 2023.
I said at the latest 2024. I did say that.
No, and as a matter of fact, no, because I brought up the whole thing with 2024 because of this. The SEC contract starts with ESPN, and then you have, which I'm not too happy about that, but that's another conversation for another day. But the SEC contract starts with ESPN, and then on top of that, now the college football playoff is supposed to expand to 12 teams starting in 2024. And then you consider USC and UCLA is going to move to. So I said USC and UCLA is going to move to the Big Ten at that time too. So a lot of stuff is supposed to be happening. Hold on, what do you say? He needs to use some of that. Yeah, Jonathan.
He needs more than an offensive coordinator. I'll tell you that.
But look, hey, if this year, especially when you consider Brian Kelly had LSU in the SEC title game in his first year. Yeah, his first year.
He's done more in 1 year than Jimbo Fisher's done in.
Yeah, this was Jimbo's going into his 6th year, and if it's not looking any better, do not be surprised if A&M say, you know what, we'll eat it. We'll eat this money. We had a makeshift national championship game. We were just waiting for the year. It ain't happening, so let's go. So like I said, Jonathan, I think they're starting to look up.
I really think that Texas and Oklahoma will be there. I'm going to give it about a 75 to 80% chance they'll be in the SEC by 2024. Yeah,
I mean, I think they're looking up because of those things that I mentioned. SEC
that college football being the expansion, that's huge. That's huge. And both Texas and Oklahoma are going to. It will be crazy how much they make coming out of the Big 12 and going to the SEC. It's just so much more money to be made, and both of those colleges can make twice as much as what it would cost to buy out in 2024.
Yep. And so I think it's starting to gain a little bit of momentum. As a matter of fact, I saw the story kind of detailing that. If you go over to Yahoo Sports, there is a story detailing how this could happen and why this move is, well, as they put in the story, gaining momentum.
I think it's gaining a lot of momentum, especially with a lot of that thing. And look at how much the SEC is going to make off of it. I mean, look at how good Texas is producing in basketball right now. You know what I mean? So, and Oklahoma, I mean, obviously Oklahoma and Texas are always in there when it comes to softball. Texas and Oklahoma are always there when it comes to baseball. When you have basketball,
Oklahoma's gymnastics team won the.
Oklahoma's exactly. What was the other thing that they're cross country? Holy crap! Oklahoma's cross country is like for real.
Yeah,
I mean, insane at what Oklahoma produces on a track and field. You know what I mean? So just the sheer the sports of it, and then start taking the NIL deals that come with that. I mean, SEC has just as much to gain from it as both of those schools coming in do. So I say spend it, get out, let's go, and let's move on to the future, because there's so much more money to be made with all of that. It's crazy.
So Jonathan pointed out the Texas basketball coach. Yeah, he did get arrested. On I guess it was Sunday night, Monday morning.
Monday night,
yeah,
I think.
Felt like a felony domestic assault charge, dude. Like, I mean, it's serious. And Texas suspended him until further notice. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, Chris Beard, he's a good coach, but I guess he got into this domestic dispute here. Of course, he had led Texas Tech to the Final Four, actually the final game back in 2019, before losing to Virginia. And well, they had Texas, it got Texas on the up and up on basketball. And now the season, in terms of the coaching thing, it might be a little bit in flux now. So we'll see how it turns out. But let's move on, Patrick. So we're going to go to the NFL side of things, our review and preview of it. It's a shame we can't do this with college football anymore. I always listen with the college football.
No, right?
What caught your eye for the NFL for the preview?
So a couple of things. I mean, that Dallas-Houston game ended up being a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be pretty one-sided, but that ended up being pretty good.
The Texans threw up on themselves again, by the way. If that was anybody else other than Houston, Dallas would have lost.
Well, I mean, it's I call them Civil War games, right? When you're playing in-state games, it just ended up being better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be one-sided for Dallas, and it really didn't become one-sided until halfway through the fourth quarter, and then it got really one-sided.
No, man, the Cowboys won on a last-second touchdown because the Texans became the Texans. They were up 23-20. They intercepted Dak Prescott and had a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line and didn't score. And so Dallas,
I didn't see that part. Yeah. I just saw Dallas was made a comeback and won it off that final touchdown.
Yeah, huh. And they had like a 2-minute drive and went down. Yeah, it was Houston being Houston again. If anybody else was winning, if anybody else was playing the Cowboys, that's a loss for Dallas. And everybody's like, "Yeah, Dallas, they're unbeatable." No, they're not. Yeah. Patrick, I swear, I just wanted to say this real quick. It is going to be so great once again to see the Cowboys spectacularly fail like they always do every single year. It's going to be so awesome.
I'm mad at you for this. You know that, right?
You know what? Not my fault.
Be mad and comment.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you're not my fault that I'm telling the truth about this.
That Dallas-Minnesota game was really. I did watch a lot of that one. Dallas.
Which one?
I'm sorry, Detroit, Minnesota. That one. That was a really good. Detroit real football. I was even at one or all the way up to the 3rd quarter or something crazy like that. I thought it was amazing, but they played really good. Philly beating the crap out of New York. Hey.
Yeah, I saw that. You calling me Stephen A. Smith? Don't you dare.
Them there's fighting words.
You be calling me Stephen A. Smith. Come on, Jonathan.
Man.
I'm not yelling at anybody.
Not yet.
I'm not screaming at anybody just to try to prove that I'm right.
Oh yeah, because the louder he gets, the righter he is.
There it is. Yeah,
that's what I swear. I think he thinks he was like, the louder I get, the righter I am.
Yeah.
How about Philly beating the crap out of New York?
Philly's rolling. And Jalen Hurts is the favorite for the MVP right now.
And he should be.
Yes.
Freaking 12-1.
Yeah, and his stats.
How about Jacksonville beating Tennessee?
Hey man, Jacksonville, give them a little bit more time, man. They're gonna be, I think they're gonna be something to mess with coming here soon. Might not happen this year, but next year, Jacksonville can make a little run toward the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about next year, but year after, absolutely. They're putting some pieces in, and it's looking good for them. Denver,
Hey,
crap.
Patrick. If the Bengals can go from a 4-win team to making the Super Bowl, Jacksonville can make a run for the playoffs in a year, dude.
You know what? Good point. Absolutely good point. Enough said. I won't say another word about it. That's a very good point. What was it? Who was it? How about your San Francisco 49ers just putting the on Tampa? I mean, where's Tampa Brady at?
Man, Tampa Bay, man, they just I got to catch that game, and Tampa Bay, something's off there. I don't know if it's,
but pick something that's off. The bleachers, the bleachers are off.
I mean, I don't know if it is Brady and some of his personal affairs going through, kind of coming through on the play. I don't know if the receivers aren't on the right page. The defense is a little bit off. They just don't. They don't look right. They don't. But granted, hey, the 49ers defense is the truth, though.
Defense is, and they're showing it too, man. They're good. I know we're going to talk about this team here in a minute, but damn, Kyler Murray just gonna just roll out. Not even. He's like, my knee went out. I'm out. That was a bad injury, though, man. You never want to see those. You know what I mean?
No, you never want to see anybody get hurt, man. I mean, that is one of the things. I mean, you could boo, you can try to chant bad things about them, but the last thing you're trying to see is somebody get injured. I mean, this is their livelihood, and you want the people you want them to be at their best. You don't want any thing to hamper them. You want them to be able to play healthy. Fortunately, injuries are part of the game, and that looked bad for Kyler. He just took that step, and his knee just gave away. Yep. So,
and it was weird because that's one of those steps where you're just like, you feel it. Like, I felt it from Arizona. And the crazy thing is he looked really good before, like all the pregame prep and all that stuff. Looked good, and then he stepped out there. What was that?
Third play of the game.
Third play of the game? I thought it was fourth, but I mean, either way the case, maybe it doesn't matter. The way it just, I felt it, man. I was like, yeah, he ain't coming back from that one. I personally think he will probably stay out the rest of the season.
Well, he tore his ACL. He's gone for the year, man.
Oh, so it did come out. Okay, so yeah, he's out for the rest of the season. I just saw it and I was just like, ugh. And I turned it and I haven't really heard anything else, but I also haven't been looking. I mean, so I didn't know what the injury had came out to be. So that sucks. I hate that. And then I know they didn't play this week, but how sure are we that Mariota is really injured, or is he just not producing and we're just putting Ritter in?
So, on that note, apparently Mariota just left the team. This was reported yesterday.
What?
Yeah, look it up, man. Look it up. He left the team, and they don't know if he's going to come back or not. So, I don't know what happened, how that conversation went between the head coach, Mike Smith, and Mariota. But yeah, Mariota just not with the team. So it's crazy you mentioned roll out, because he did. Oh, he rolled out.
Apparently, I mean, this is the first I'm hearing about it.
I saw that pop up a few hours ago. He left. Now, there's nothing that says he's like gone from the team or he's been released from the team or anything, but he's just not with them right now. So yeah, that escalated quickly, as they say. Jonathan had a comment about Tampa Bay. All right, so first off, Jonathan, I don't watch Skip and Shannon Undisputed that much. I think it's slightly better than First Fate, but I still don't really watch it.
Enough said with what you called it.
Yeah, I don't really watch it that much. But let's see. So you're talking about how great and wonderful. Well, look, Tom Brady looks good, like as in, I guess he looks good to be 45. His play, not great.
from the Super Bowl win to today, you can see a drastic drop in his ability to play. I mean, and I'm not saying that I'm not taking away the fact that he is the best quarterback to ever play the game right now. I'm not. But I mean, look, Charles always tells me, this is what he always tells me. This is a serious note right here. We're not spring chickens anymore. Well, Tom, guess what? You're not a spring chicken anymore. It was time to retire when what's his name? I can't stand that guy.
Schefter?
Yeah, Schefter.
Adam Schefter? Yeah.
Adam Schefter. See, I don't even like him enough to even remember his name. That dude is garbage. And the only reason why Tom Brady came back was because Adam Schefter ran his mouth, and then Tom Brady was like, well, I don't like him either. So I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna give up my marriage for it, just to prove that little turd wrong. I mean, yeah. Get out of it. Like there's two people. Well, three. Four, five. I can probably count five. The ESPN just needs to get rid of. Six, actually.
All right, Patrick, look. How do you make all these how do you just continuously add people like that? That is just so funny.
Just fire everybody. ESPN needs to fire everybody.
Look, I'm with you because I know the people that you're about to name. But
I can't stand none of them. Get rid of all of them.
Well, all right, Patrick. So before we get on a couple of these other topics, Jonathan's stupid. So before, what are you previewing? What games are you looking at?
Oh, well, crap. Hold on. I got to pull up the schedule. Because I got to talking about, you know how I get.
All right. I got you. It's okay.
Okay. Okay. So, well, hey, Atlanta and New Orleans. We're going to see Ritter, dude. Since Mariota doesn't like to stay in Atlanta anymore. Well, deuces, homie. Nobody liked you anyway.
Okay, really? It was cool.
There's a lot of hate in this episode. I'm just saying.
From you?
Yeah. People quitting over here. Nobody likes ESPN. Get rid of all of them. Bye.
Don't let that door hit you in the ass on the way out.
As I'm slinging it.
Yeah.
Deuces. I can't believe he just rolled out, dude. Man, I'm gonna find that article. Ooh. I don't like it. Just boo. Boo.
I get the pop-ups on Yahoo Sports. So that's where I seen it out there. Yeah, Mariota's just he's gone.
Dirty bird on the way out. That's what he is. See, and this is the reason why at the beginning of the season I was like, you know, and the crazy thing was like a lot of Atlanta fans were praising him for a job that he was doing. We weren't expecting don't get me wrong, we weren't expecting to win the division, but the fact that we were 4-4 and number one, hey, we'll take that. We'll watch that. We'll go with it. Oh, now he's 5-8 and I'm out.
You know what? He got benched, and then he's out.
Like a fat kid in dodgeball. I'm like, bro, eat your cake and get out. Let's go. See, and you asked me a question. I can't even remember what the question was. What was the question?
Oh, goodness. I got you, Patrick. It's okay. What are you looking forward to this week?
That's right. And what did I say? Oh, Atlanta, New Orleans. Oh, we're back where we started. How about that? Well, we'll see what Ritter does.
What else? What else?
San Francisco and Seattle. That's going to be a good game. Stop laughing. We got a show to do, Charles.
Oh, okay. You don't blame that on me.
We got a show to do, Charles. We got a show to do.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll get it together. Sorry.
Yeah, get it together. Look.
What other games, Patrick?
Well, Minnesota could win because Indianapolis is completely falling apart, and who even cares? Oh, I'm so glad they took Matt Ryan. That guy should have rolled out. Him and Marcus could be friends right now.
What else?
I can't even concentrate right now. Can't even concentrate right now.
Maybe I should have kept that Falcons news to myself to the show.
Yeah, you probably should have told me after the show. That little piece of crap, dude.
You gotta look it up. Yeah, dude, he just left. He just left. Sorry.
You know what? Good riddance, that look. God. Anyway, okay. Focus. Charles. Look, your sole job is to keep me on track, and you haven't done that yet.
I've done that like 3 times in the show.
Hey, yes, John.
I've done that 3 times in 30 minutes.
Whatever.
What else, Patrick? Any other?
Okay. Hey, so are we calling Jacksonville beating Dallas today or next week?
I might.
I might too. You know what? Let's go with it. Fist bump. Jacksonville. We're going Jacksonville. God, you see, like, is there any really good games this week? Because it's all like the best versus the worst. Minus the Tennessee Chargers game. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think the Tennessee Chargers game could be interesting. You pointed out the 49ers Seahawks. The Dolphins and Bills could be an interesting one.
The Giants and WTFs.
Yes, yeah.
I'm still calling them the WTFs because I like it. You started something trending. #trending WTFs. When are we gonna do a hashtag show? Look, you know what? I gotta focus.
Patrick, so that was part of the plans that I was going to talk to you about at the end of the year. It's okay. I got you. It's okay.
I'm all over the place tonight.
Yes.
You know what? Work has been that way for the past 2 days. So I literally, this is par for the course for me tonight. Just saying. Just like you know. Yeah, because both of those teams, the Giants and the Commanders, or the WTFs, are 7-5-1.
Yeah. Well, hey, here's the headline. This is from Yahoo Sports, and look, I'm gonna keep it going, and we're gonna move on after I read this headline about Marcus Mariota. But it says, this is from Yahoo Sports. Marcus Mariota reportedly leaves Falcons after bitching to have knee evaluated. Team unsure if he'll return. That's the headline. So
I wish I was disappointed.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. Like I'm mad. I'm not even disappointed.
So Patrick, we're gonna talk about the Dolphins real quick. Let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. We had talked about the Arizona Cardinals and what they need to do. I mean, Kyler Murray is out for the year. But they need a whole bunch of changes. Cliff Kingsbury needs to go. That general manager needs to go too. The Arizona team is ran like they act like they've won 8 Super Bowls and haven't won not one. But yeah, they have this arrogance of, yeah, we're doing everything right here. No, you're not. Not even close.
As you take your addendum out of your Kyler Murray contract.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, you're doing so much right. Oh, I'm so happy to be part of this organization.
So yeah, Arizona needs we talk about furniture moving. That they need some. We need overhauls. We need people to come in there. Hey, clean house, hazmat suits, pressure washers. We need it all. Get it out. GM gone. Coach gone. Cliff Kingsbury. I don't even know how he got that. I'm still trying to figure out how he got that job. I'm still
Some people just like to lose.
You know?
Some people put their entire career on that. Look, I'm gonna burn this to the ground. And their wives are going, I got your back, honey.
Yeah.
You better, because we're about to be homeless. I know. Look, I know if you stay with me and we're homeless, that's love.
Let's go to the Dolphins.
Damn.
Let's go to the Dolphins on that note. and the Dolphins, so they've hit some struggles. So a lot of people, this was the trendy team for a lot of people at that 10-11 game mark. Everyone's like, oh, Miami is coming. And I just wanted to sit back and wait because I knew they had some tough games coming up. I know they had the same record along with the Bills and the Chiefs and some of your better teams or the teams that were looked at as the favorites to go to the Super Bowl from the AFC. But then the Dolphins had a game. Yeah. But then the Dolphins had a game in San Francisco. Tua Tagovailoa did not look good in that game. Looked like he had happy feet. That didn't help that the 49ers were bringing a lot of pressure on him too. And then he looked bad against the Chargers. And the Chargers have a bad defense, but they looked bad against the Chargers. And now they're going to Buffalo in a huge game in the AFC East on Saturday. This is how I feel about Miami, man. I mean,
Saturday.
Yeah. They're starting Saturday games now. And the NFL always does that. So when college football ends their regular season, you know the NFL, they're always looking for an opportunity to
cash in on that.
Yep, throw that product out there. So, yep, they have 3 Saturday games, Patrick. 3. They have the Colts and Vikings. They have the Colts and Vikings, the Ravens and Browns, and the Dolphins and Bills is the night game. So, yeah. You will see Saturday games for the rest of the season, I believe, until I think the last week of the regular season when they're all play on Sunday. But yep, coming up on Christmas, yep, Saturday game. New Year's, Saturday games. Yeah, just Saturday games. So,
I never remember them doing that.
As a matter of fact, the Christmas weekend, pretty much all those games are going to be on Saturday. Since it's Christmas.
I knew if Christmas fell on Sunday, they always played on Saturday. I knew that.
Yes.
I didn't know that. When did they start doing this? I never even really paid attention.
They've been doing it for a little while now. More so in some seasons than others. A lot of times it'll start around Christmas when they will. Like you said, they have been doing the Saturday games for the Christmas weekend if Christmas fell on a Sunday. But look, man, the NFL, anytime they can cash in, they'll throw a game on a Friday.
It wouldn't. I'm surprised they haven't done Wednesday night.
Oh, as a matter of fact, hey, starting next year, Black Friday NFL game. Amazon, dude.
Oh no. Why would I think any differently then? Jeff Bezos, he's just as bad as the NFL now. Let's just throw a game out there every day.
He might buy the Washington Commanders.
Well, if he does, then they should
go back to the WTFs if he does.
if he buys them, he should. But then, or maybe even make them Whole Foods. The Washington
Whole Foods.
The Washington Cyber Mondays.
So Patrick, let's end the show on a couple of funny topics here before we
good because we haven't been funny enough all night.
There's always room for laughter. So we got. So let's go here. So I think it's hilarious how these teams, namely the Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills, and I guess the New York Giants, are over here hosting OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. out here like he's some sort of recruit, and they're over here trying to recruit his services. Like, look, this dude he's coming off a torn ACL, and if I'm a team, I'm like, dude, run some routes. I want to see you run some routes because I'm not just gonna sign you.
I'm not signing him, period.
Yeah, like I'm not.
After the hot tub.
Stop. We did not look. Listen, just Google OBJ hot tub if you want to know what Patrick is talking about. I'll just put it that way. And if you see what we're talking about, leave it in the comments. And it's
hey, right now I wouldn't sign him just for that. Oh, dude, come out of that hot tub.
So look, Patrick, no, we're not going there right now. We're not. No,
dude, you brought it up.
No, I didn't bring up the hot tub.
When you said Odell Beckham, you practically brought it up.
No, I didn't. Look, you need to stop blaming me for all this stuff tonight because you were going off the rails.
Your fault.
No, it's not. I am not taking responsibility for that. But look.
when that one player bent over and he was like,
stop. Stop. Just YouTube OGDJ hot tub if you see it, whatever, man. But look, anyway, they're going around and look, and the other teams. So the Cowboys said, look, we're not gonna mess around signing them. So they signed T.Y. Hilton, longtime Indianapolis Colts receiver. Mm-hmm. And Buffalo, they ran and they signed Cole Beasley back. And then, like I said, they both had Odell Beckham in there. And look, when it comes with OBJ, it's a circus. I mean, we know how it is. It's just it's a complete comedy hour a lot of times when he's there. Now, granted, he did help the Rams out tremendously when he was signed with them. So from that part, I can understand a little bit why a team, especially a team that could make a Super Bowl run, although Cowboys they're not making a Super Bowl run, but whatever, they think they are. And so if they feel he could help them, I can understand them trying to entertain his services. But this whole fanboy, let's wine and dine him, and he's coming off of a ACL. Like, no, dude, you need to show me you can run routes. I'm not signing you, dude. Yeah, and I'm not just going to sign you just because your name is OBJ. No, get out here on a practice field. I need to see how that ACL is healing. I need to see how you are doing. I am not signing you until then. And these other teams, I guess they're not messing around with it. So good on those teams. I still don't know why they're whining and dining, but whatever.
Well, look, I mean, let's put all of the hot tub talk aside.
Yes, please.
Charles, seriously, let's put the hot tub talk aside. And he is a good wide receiver. He really is. And what he did at Los Angeles with the Rams helped them out tremendously. But at the end of the day, he's accident prone. He gets a lot of injuries. And like you said, I'm not in the circus that comes with him. I'm just not. So unfortunately for him, I wouldn't sign him. I just wouldn't. Because the circus is too much. And the injuries are too much, let alone having to deal with the circus that comes with it. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it now at any price. At any price, it's just not worth it. And look, you can wine and dine him. Hey, take him out to a meal. Let him get him a steak, and then send him home. That's fine. Wine and dine him. Send him home. The circus is too much.
And Patrick, so before we get out of here, because no more mentions of. Okay, sorry, I need to stop. No more mentions of that. I'll take responsibility for that one. But real quick, Tom Brady. So of course we had talked about Tom Brady earlier in the show, but apparently he was caught on whatever footage, cell phone footage, after the game against the San Francisco 49ers, signing footballs to the guy, or for the man, our linebacker Dre Greenlaw, who intercepted him. And so people were like, wait, Tom Brady signed footballs to the guy who intercepted him? And I guess it was a funny story because Dre Greenlaw was asked about it. He said, I was at the fanboy, and he was straight up about it. He said, I was at the fanboy. I was trying to butter him up, and I was going to ask him to sign these footballs. But then the other linebacker we have, Fred Warner, he ran up. He's like, hey, you get them footballs signed? And then so Dre's like, yeah, man, okay, you sign these footballs for me. And Tom Brady signed the footballs. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Hey, look, Tom Brady's going through a lot of crap. We all know that. But you know what? He's still a good guy. You know what I mean? It needs to be up for debate. We don't know if he made a bad decision by coming back to football or if he made a good decision. We don't know. Obviously, it cost him his marriage, but who's to say that it really was football? For Tom Brady, he's doing something that he absolutely loves so much, and it's hard for, I know that it's hard for his wife to just be like, I understand, you know what I mean, because she was a model and she loved doing her job, and he asked her to give it up so that for the family, and rightfully so, he probably should have done it the same way, but hey, look, if he signs footballs, good on him. He thought about it. And the fact that what's his name, taught himself a fanboy. Yeah, good for him, man. You call it what it is. Don't be ashamed of it. You got yourself a signed football by Tom Brady. Look, you went out and intercepted a football. You got him to sign it. Guess what? I think it's probably worth $500 million.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how I was feeling too, man. I said, man, that was cool of Tom Brady, because Tom Brady could have been the guy who was just like, man, get out my face. You intercepted me, man.
That crap.
Yeah, right. But he ran, and I mean, he sat there. He signed the footballs for him, and I thought that was pretty cool. And you're gonna have your people, oh, Tom Brady soft. You did that. No, that's good. That's cool.
No, that's good. Good on him. I mean, but we expect this from Tom Brady. We do.
Well, all right, Patrick, we're going to roll on out. It is time. So, hey, that's what we are breathing on for today. We hope you enjoy the show. Jonathan, thanks for coming on there with us, and we hope you was laughing just like we were through this whole thing. Patrick ranting out of control. But
out of control today, I admit it. I admit it. It got way out of control. But you can't tell me news like that. You can't tell me news like that. And you can't bring up Beckham without bringing up the hot tub. That was all on you too. So that's just your fault.
Y'all make sure y'all visit the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel and smash that subscribe button, and keep the likes, follow the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. So we have one more show next Tuesday, and then we'll be out for the Christmas break. So until then, everybody take care. Enjoy the games that are coming up in the NFL, and just take care of each other, love each other, protect each other, and just take care of each other. So, yeah.
Don't roll out like Marcus.
Y'all take care. We'll see y'all next week.